දැන් මාස 25ක ස්ථාවර තැන්පතු සඳහා 10.75ක අසම සම පොලියක් LB යසෙසුරු.
Tonight, on First at 9 this Tuesday, the 3rd of February 2026. Grilled. Former First Lady Sriranthi Rajapaksa summoned to FCID over Cirilia Savia counts. CID grills MP Nama Rajapaksa over alleged underworld ties. Service tensions. School development officers call off hunger strike after satisfactory discussions with the president. GMOA threatens to intensify industrial action if government fails to meet doctors' demands. Independence ready. All arrangements complete for 78th National Independence Day celebration tomorrow at Independence Square. ITAC MP Sridharan declares support for protests against independence celebrations. Cabinet spokesperson dismisses MP statements as political manoeuvring. Audit leadership. Constitutional Council unanimously approves President's latest nominee as the new Auditor General.
Kalin baby soap rupial 90කට. Kalin baby podi හැමෝටමයි.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9 on Derana News Channel, Sri Lanka's most trusted news source. I'm Tatya Aranayake, joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. We begin with your top story. Former First Lady Sriranthi Rajapaksa and Member of Parliament Nama Rajapaksa appeared before the Financial Crimes Investigation Division and the CID respectively earlier today to record statements in connection with several ongoing investigations. Both recorded statements at the respective authorities for over 4 hours.
Former First Lady Sriranthi Rajapaksa was summoned before the Financial Crimes Investigation Division today to record a statement regarding alleged financial irregularities linked to the Cirilia Savia bank account. The account was reportedly maintained as a joint account with 2 other individuals during Mahinda Rajapaksa's tenure as president. Although she was previously summoned on the 27th of January, Sriranthi Rajapaksa informed authorities of her inability to appear on that date and requested a 2 weeks extension. Accordingly, she arrived at the FCID at 9:45 am today, accompanied by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. By the time of her arrival, a group of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramunu supporters had gathered at the premises. As Sriranthi Rajapaksa served as the chairperson of the Cirilia Savia organization, she was questioned on the crediting of funds to the organization by state institutions, as well as the importation of vehicles in the organization's name without payment of applicable taxes. The Financial Crimes Investigation Division stated that statements were obtained from the former First Lady to establish facts relating to the use of Cirilia Savia vehicles by the Carlton Sports Network and the collection and subsequent utilization of funds for the procurement of a CT scanner for the Lady Ridgeway Hospital and an AIDS eradication program. The questioning also related to a residential property in Colombo belonging to Sriranthi Rajapaksa, which had been used as the address of the treasurer of the Cirilia Savia organization. After recording a statement for more than 4 hours, the former First Lady departed the FCID at approximately 2:20 p.m. Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, in an official statement, noted that the former First Lady had been summoned by the FCID against a backdrop where it had already seized the accounts and other pertinent documentation of the Cirilia Savia organization during investigations in 2015. Separately, the national organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Namal Rajapaksa, was summoned before the Criminal Investigation Department earlier today. He was called in to record a statement concerning his alleged association with Kehel Badar Padme, a notorious criminal gang member currently held in remand custody. During the inquiry, the CID had displayed photographs of criminals before Nama Rajapaksa and questioned him on whether he was acquainted with them. Rajapaksa, however, has stated that numerous individuals often appear in photographs with him on various occasions and that he does not personally know everyone featured in such images. Nama Rajapaksa left the CID premises at approximately 2:30 p.m. after recording a statement for nearly 4 hours.
I answered all their questions. They showed photographs of certain individuals and inquired about various meetings I had attended, to which I responded fully. However, they didn't have any answers to my questions. Who should be held accountable for the container controversy? What happened to the methamphetamine factory in Nuwara? They didn't have answers to my questions. They are asking the same questions of me. How am I supposed to know that? This is their government. They are interrogating us to conceal their mistakes. We will not be intimidated by these actions.
Meanwhile, Cabinet spokesperson Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa expressed views on the matter at the Cabinet briefing today.
It was observed that Parliamentarian Nama Rajapaksa arrived at the Criminal Investigation Department accompanied by a group of individuals. This conduct appears to reflect an attempt to exert influence over the legal process in order to prevent action being taken against those facing allegations. However, all individuals are equal before the law. As such, political theatrics are unnecessary. Those concerned are required only to provide statements to the relevant authorities and place their trust in the country's legal system. Similar conduct was frequently witnessed in early 2015. Legal proceedings would be considerably more straightforward had the individuals concerned appeared promptly to provide their statements.
Central Finance
The Constitutional Council unanimously approved the appointment of Senior Deputy Auditor General LSI Jayaratna as the new Auditor General. Jayaratna was the President's latest nominee for Auditor General. The position that remained vacant since April 9th last year upon the retirement of former Auditor General WPC Wickramaratne was filed on an acting basis by Dharmapala Gammanpilla. The Constitutional Council stated that although his term as Acting Auditor General was extended twice, it could not be extended any further. In light of this situation, the position has remained vacant since the 5th of December 2025. Although the President had nominated several individuals for the position of Auditor General, the Constitutional Council was unable to come to an agreement on an appointee. During a Constitutional Council meeting on the 30th of January, the President proposed Deputy Auditor General LSI Jayaratna as a nominee for the position. Subsequently, the Constitutional Council, which convened at the Parliamentary complex today, unanimously approved Jayaratna as the new Auditor General. The Sri Lanka School Development Officers Association, which was staging a 9-day hunger strike, temporarily called off its protest today following successful discussions with President Andra Dissanayake. The association stated that it had received assurances from the President that a proper system would be established to formally integrate all development officers who have been serving as teachers for the past 7 years into the teaching service.
The hunger strike, initiated by school development officers demanding immediate integration into the teaching service, continued for the 9th consecutive day today. Of the 7 development officers who entered the hunger strike, 6 were hospitalized on several occasions, leaving only 1 protester to continue the strike. Despite this, the demonstrators staged a protest in front of the Presidential Secretariat yesterday afternoon. They spent the night at the location in anticipation of discussions with the President today. Samagi Janabalawega MPs Rauf Hakim and Rohini Vijayaratna Kaviratna visited the protest site this morning. Against this backdrop, school development officers arrived at the Presidential Secretariat this morning for discussions with the President. The meeting was attended by several officials, including Secretary to the Ministry of Education, Nalaka Kalueva.
We have served in the teaching profession for many years and possess significant expertise in this field. Our goal is not to disrupt the system. If there are gaps in the procedure we follow to enter the service, we are willing to undergo any training programs or measures required to align with the proper protocol. We seek a resolution that does not inconvenience inconvenience the government or the education system.
එන කිසිදු අවශ්‍යතාවයක් නැහැ.
ප්‍රශ්නේ තේරෙනවා.
We understand your concerns and acknowledge the challenges faced. The key issue is identifying a legally sound pathway to integrating you into the teaching service. One option is through the examination process, which allows continuity in state service without interruption. However, a separate evaluation will be required to account for career progression within the teaching service, as immediate promotions could cause objections from others. I can submit a cabinet paper next week to formalize this process, at which point the necessary legal procedures will commence.
හැබැයි කැබිනට් තීරණ ගත්ත වෙටි නඩු වෙනවා.
The decision was subsequently conveyed to the demonstrators at the protest site.
The President clearly stated that our officers will not be institutionalized arbitrarily. We vow to put an end to that. Accordingly, he allowed all our officers to remain in the teaching service without being institutionalized. This is a victory that we achieved. He also said that a proper mechanism will be established to integrate the development officers who were engaged in teaching for over 7 years into the teaching service. We will temporarily call off the strike action as he provided fair solutions to our concerns. However, we will initiate the strikes if our concerns are not addressed.
However, education trade unions maintain that school development officers should not be recruited into the teaching service in contravention of the Teachers' Service Constitution.
Patients continue to face inconveniences today as the industrial action initiated by the Government Medical Officers Association continued at government hospitals across the island. The GMOA states that it will have no option but to further intensify the action if the government fails to provide satisfactory responses to its demands.
Medical specialists affiliated with the GMOA joined the ongoing strike action yesterday, withdrawing from coverage duties at hospitals other than their assigned institutions. Accordingly, the GMOA warned yesterday that 164 specialist medical units in government hospitals across the country would become inoperative, while surgical and intensive care services could also be disrupted. The GMOA stated that the strike was intensified yesterday based on 6 demands and warned that trade union action would continue until authorities provide a satisfactory response. However, the Association of Medical Specialists said it would not join the strike. Meanwhile, patients visiting government hospitals today were inconvenienced due to the trade union action. Minister of Health Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa commented on the matter during today's cabinet briefing.
Since yesterday, the ministry has begun the process of transferring doctors. Some expect all transfers to take place at once, which would inconvenience the government and collapse the health sector. We will not allow that to happen. The ministry will ensure that one doctor is always replaced by another without allowing shortages to occur.
The Cabinet of Ministers has approved Sri Lanka's Renewable Energy Resources Development Plan for 2025 to 2030, aiming to achieve 70% renewable electricity generation by 2030 and carbon neutrality by 2050. With that, here's more on key decisions taken during this week's Cabinet meeting.
Cabinet approval was granted to obtain technical assistance from the Mahaveli Consultancy Bureau to complete delayed rural community water supply projects. 175 projects launched under the Community Water Pride program remain incomplete due to the COVID-19 pandemic and economic crisis. Due to staffing shortages at the National Community Water Supply Department, the Cabinet approved outsourcing technical services for feasibility studies, engineering designs, procurement documentation and project monitoring, with priority given to completing 48 projects between 2026 and 2027. In the energy sector, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the Renewable Energy Resources Development Plan for 2025 to 2030. The plan, prepared by the Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority in line with national policy, seeks to meet 70% of country's electricity demand from renewable sources by 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. Key components include identifying suitable lands for renewable energy, developing renewable energy maps, establishing renewable energy parks, and introducing floating solar power projects. Meanwhile, approval was also granted to the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between Sri Lanka and Finland to establish a political consultative mechanism. The agreement aimed to strengthen cooperation in political, economic, educational, environmental, consular and cultural sectors and multilateral issues of mutual interest.
All arrangements have been completed for the 78th National Independence Day celebration set to take place tomorrow at Independence Square in Colombo. In this context, Ilange Tamilara Sukachi MP S. Sridharan declared support for for protests reportedly organised in the northern province against Independence Day celebrations, claiming that Sri Lanka's Tamil community is yet to attain true freedom. However, Cabinet spokesperson Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa dismissed the statement as reflecting internal rivalries within Tamil political movements rather than genuine national concerns.
The 78th National Independence Day celebration, held under the theme Building Sri Lanka, will take place tomorrow at Independence Square in Colombo. As part of Independence Day celebrations, an overnight period chanting ceremony was conducted yesterday at the Independence Memorial Hall to invoke blessings for the nation. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, together with several cabinet ministers, participated in the religious observance. Continuing the series of commemorative events, alms were offered to Buddhist clergy this morning at Atula Buddhist Centre on Bauddhaloka Mawatha. Final rehearsals for the Independence Day celebration were held today at Independence Square. A special traffic management plan will be implemented in the vicinity of Independence Square from 5 a.m. tomorrow until the conclusion of the celebrations. Traffic restrictions will be in effect along several major roads, including Nidahas Mawatha, Stanley Vijay Sundar Mawatha, Bauddhaloka Mawatha, Vijay Rama Mawatha, Maitland Crescent and Horton Place. The Independence Day ceremony will be broadcast live from 7:30 a.m. tomorrow on TV Derana, Ada Derana News Channel, Ada Derana YouTube channel and the Ada Derana Facebook platform. Meanwhile, addressing a press conference today, Ilankai Tamil Arasakacha MP S. Sridharan stated that he supports calls by certain groups in the northern province to consider Independence Day a black day.
I fully support the call by university students and Tamil people to consider Sri Lanka's Independence Day tomorrow a black day. Although Sri Lanka is said to have gained independence in 1948, the Tamil people are yet to attain true freedom. Large-scale protests have been organised against the Independence Day tomorrow, particularly centred in Kilinochchi and Batiklo.
During the cabinet briefing today, Cabinet spokesperson Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa was questioned regarding MP Sridharan's statement.
Independence Day belongs to all citizens of the country. It is important to set aside political differences and unite under one flag as one nation. At times we observe competition among Tamil political parties and individuals, particularly concerning leadership. Statements made in this context often reflect internal rivalry rather than genuine national issues.
යාපනයේ ආරක්ෂක සේනා මූලස්ථානයේ එතනින් ඉවත් කරන තීරණයක් අරගෙන තියෙනවද මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් අර විශ්‍රාමික මේජර් ජෙනරාල් චාගි ගාල්ලගේ මහත්තයා මම දැක්ක Facebook සටහනක් තියලා තියෙනවා. දැන් එතුමා වගේ කෙනෙක් Facebook සටහනක් තිබ්බා කියන්නේ නිමිත්තක් නොතිබුණා වෙන්න බෑ නේද? ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යාංශය
The Defence Minister and Defence Secretary have clearly explained the situation. The information circulating on social media claiming that the Security Forces headquarters in Jaffna will be relocated is completely false and has no basis in fact. No such decision has been taken by the Ministry of Defence. The Ministry of Defence is closely monitoring the circulation of rumours that create unnecessary fear among the public. Accordingly, the Ministry has stated that strict legal action will be taken against those who spread disinformation. Therefore, whoever is responsible must take accountability and face legal consequences.
LTT සංවිධානයේ හිටපු නායක වේලුපිල්ලේ ප්‍රභාකරන්ගේ යාපනයේ වැල්වැටි තුරේ තියෙන ගෙදර ප්‍රතිසංස්කරණය කරලා යාගේ නංගිට බාර දෙන්න කියලා වැල්වැටි තුරේ ප්‍රාදේශීය සභාවට යෝජනාවක් ඉදිරිපත් වෙලා තිනවා. ඒක ඒකමතිකව සම්මත වෙලා.
As of now, no official information regarding this matter has been reported. We have instructed the police to investigate the situation and verify the facts.
Welcome back to First at 9, now taking you to more local news. Today's parliamentary proceedings prominently featured the complaint filed by suspended Deputy Secretary General of Parliament Chamindu Kularatne with the Bribery Commission against Speaker Dr. Jagat Wickramaratne. The opposition leader urged members of Parliament to allow the complaint to be processed via the proper legal channels so as not to violate the suspended Deputy Secretary General's rights and privileges.
The whole nation is discussing the issues between the Speaker and Parliamentary Secretariat staff. A secretary has been suspended. He has now approached the Bribery Commission and filed a complaint against the Speaker. We have never witnessed such a situation in parliamentary history. This is a very serious matter. I am not blaming you directly. Perhaps this is the system change you referred to.
නියෝජ්‍ය මහලේකම්වරයා සම්බන්ධ ප්‍රශ්නය
In the issue involving the Deputy General Secretary, the Parliamentary Staff Advisory Committee, in which the leader of the opposition is also a member, made the decision to conduct an investigation into the Deputy General Secretary. It was the committee that appointed a one-member committee and its report was submitted to the Staff Advisory Committee. The Staff Advisory Committee then took the final decision regarding the Deputy General Secretary. He was given an opportunity to clarify the matter. He will be given another opportunity during the upcoming investigation to provide a statement. Therefore, all actions were taken in accordance with parliamentary procedures. If he believes the process is unfair, there is ample opportunity for him to present his statements accordingly. A complaint has been filed against you, the Speaker, at the Bribery Commission. It carries many allegations. Can the report be tabled in Parliament? I came across a version on Facebook and request that it be included in the Hansard. However, please table the official document as we do not know the truth behind this. I believe the best course of action is for everyone to take a step back. I propose that we carefully review the actions taken so far and move forward by protecting democracy without violating the human and fundamental rights of Chaminda Kularatne while strictly adhering to legal procedures. This is also a good opportunity for the Bribery Commission. One common allegation against the Commission is that the law is implemented differently for the opposition and the government. Now the accusations against the third citizen are straightforward. Misuse of vehicles. It is alleged that he used a van other than the two vehicles allocated to him for personal purposes with specific vehicle numbers mentioned. Previously, the government stated that they do not even require official vehicles. Another allegation concerns meals charged to the Parliament's account. These are the same individuals who called for the closure of Parliament's canteen. It is also alleged that another person is receiving meals under the same account in the Speaker's chambers. We do not object to this, but the bill should be paid. As a lawyer, I have several concerns regarding the complaint filed. Why did he wait until he was suspended to file the complaint? I hope an investigation will also be conducted into this matter. If there is a bribery case against the Speaker, that is a separate issue. An internal investigation has already been conducted. Now the former Deputy General Secretary has also filed a complaint. The Bribery Commission is an institution that has earned public plaudits. We hope it will conduct a fair and thorough investigation. I observed that after 2 years, MP Namal and his mother were summoned to the CID seemingly for political theatrics. Perhaps this may entertain the LTT diaspora, but the public will not vote for such actions. Now the Speaker has appointed a public health inspector as his personal assistant. When we go to the Parliament canteen at around 3 p.m, there is often no food left after meals have been served to the 159 government MPs. However, a separate meal is reportedly ordered for the Speaker's personal assistant. I appeared on Ada Derana's 360 program yesterday where I was asked who my leader is. I can say it is Prabhakaran without fear. But can you state who your leader is without fear? Can you say your leader is Vijay Veera openly?
The Court of Appeal today dismissed the petitions seeking to invalidate remand orders issued by the Trincomalee Magistrates Court against Venerable Balangoda Kassapathera and Venerable Trikunamale Kalyanawansathissatthera in connection with the alleged illegal enshrinement of a Buddha statue in Trincomalee. The court ruled that it would not intervene in proceedings as the petitioners have alternative solutions available before lower courts.
The 10 suspects, including Venerable Balangoda Kassapathera, who were arrested in connection with the alleged illegal construction and enshrinement of a Buddha statue within the Trincomalee City Coastal Protection Zone, were remanded on multiple occasions. When the case was recalled yesterday, the Trincomalee Magistrates Court ordered that they be further remanded until February 9th. Venerable Balangoda Kassapathera and Venerable Trikunamale Kalyanawansathissatthera had filed writs before the Court of Appeal seeking an order invalidating the detention order. The petitioners contended that there was insufficient evidence to justify their remand under the Coastal Conservation Act. The petitions were taken up for consideration by the Court of Appeal today. A 20-page ruling was delivered by President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Ruhanta Abesurya. Justice Abesurya highlighted several key points, noting that magistrates, courts and other lower courts are vested with wide discretionary powers to adjudicate such matters. He further observed that the Court of Appeal does not ordinarily intervene in proceedings before lower courts where alternative legal solutions are available to the petitioners. Accordingly, the Court of Appeal dismissed the petitions.
Welcome back. Now taking you to business news, a special discussion on Sri Lanka's third mutual evaluation on anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism was held today at the Presidential Secretariat under the patronage of President Anura Dissanayake. The President stressed the importance of strong governance, institutional responsibility and full national commitment in meeting international AML-CFT standards set by the Financial Action Task Force.
Evaluation, overseen by the Asia Pacific Group on Money Laundering and coordinated locally by Central Bank's Financial Intelligence Unit, involves around 25 government institutions. Officials reviewed past evaluations, including Sri Lanka's grey listing in 2017, and called for international credibility to be restored through effective implementation. The President ordered the fast-tracking of legal amendments addressing staff shortages, retaining trained officers until the evaluation concludes in November, and considering rehiring retired experts to avoid delays. He also called for corrective measures on administrative issues and promotions, noting that a special task force report will be submitted within 2 weeks.
The government is set to award a long-term contract for the supply of 92-octane petrol for the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation to Singapore's FDSA Private Limited. Bids were called by the CPC from registered suppliers for the procurement of 5 shipments of 300,000 barrels of 92-octane petrol for the period from the 15th of March to the 14th of September 2026. Subsequent to evaluating bids by 6 suppliers and based on the recommendations of the High-Level Standing Procurement Committee, the government approved the awarding of the contract to FDSA Private Limited, the minimum substantially responsive bidder. The decision has received cabinet approval. Sri Lanka recorded the highest number of tourist arrivals within a single calendar month in January 2026. According to the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, 327,327 tourists arrived in Sri Lanka in January 2026. The figure shows an increase of nearly 10% compared to January 2025. The highest number of tourist arrivals in a single day occurred on January 15th when 10,483 tourists arrived in the country. During January 2026, India accounted for the highest number of arrivals with 52,061 visitors. Other countries contributing significant numbers of visitors included the United Kingdom, Russia and Germany. The Colombo bourse closed in positive territory today, resulted by price gains in counters such as Colombo Dockyard, TJ Lanka and Ceylon Tobacco Company. The benchmark all-share price index climbed 0.22% to settle at 23,734.5 points. Meanwhile, the more liquid S&P Sri Lanka 20 remained unchanged at 6,597.34 points at the end of the session. Market turnover crossed 8.2 billion rupees. The banking sector was the top contributor to turnover, while the capital goods sector was the second highest contributor. Foreign investors closed the session as net sellers. That's all the news we have for you tonight. Thank you for joining. Have a great night.